È stata molto attesa la testimonianza della sorella di Amber, Whitney, che ha vissuto a stretto contatto con la coppia per molti anni, vivendo nella residenza di proprietà di Johnny Depp, di fianco alla propria abitazione. Sì, perché la sorella di Amber ed il compagno vivevano in un attico attaccato a quello di Johnny ed Amber, addirittura accessibile solo attraversando la casa dell'attore dei Pirati dei Caraibi. Nonostante la benevolenza di Johnny, Whitney non si è fatta scrupolo a tacciare Johnny come un alcolizzato che picchiava la sorella.
We got along really well at first. He was sober at the time, and Johnny, when he's sober, is very bright and beautiful and lovely and kind and generous, and he was very easy to get to know, and frankly, we all fell in love with him at first. If he was using or if he was drinking, there was almost always a fight. There was always an argument. There was always a period where they weren't getting along, and it seemed to oscillate pretty quickly. He would be sober for a little bit and then almost just as quickly fall off the wagon and start to use or drink, and there would be some big blowout, and it seemed to go back and forth pretty frequently. There was never an extended period of time where it was one or the other.
Whitney ha raccontato dell'episodio delle scale, arricchendolo di particolari e dicendo che Johnny avrebbe ripetutamente colpito la sorella. Sebbene le altre persone presenti quel giorno lì, come il capo della sicurezza di Johnny e l'infermiera personale della coppia, non avrebbero assistito a nulla del genere. Ma il rapporto tra Whitney e la sorella non è sempre stato rose e fiori. Difatti, di recente, la sorella della Heard aveva lasciato la casa in seguito a delle liti avvenute proprio con l'attrice.
And you moved out of the penthouses because at that point you and your sister were fighting, right?
It was around the time that, he had accused me of leaking stories, and that was the impetus of me leaving.
And you testified earlier, I think, that he had asked you to sign an NDA, right?
At some point.
And that was around the same time that he was concerned you were leaking stories about their wedding to the media?
I believe so.
Inoltre, la sorella di Amber avrebbe confessato in passato ad una sua cara amica che fosse Amber a picchiare Johnny. Nel processo del Regno Unito, Jennifer Howe, l'amica di Whitney, si era fatta avanti ed aveva testimoniato che Whitney le avrebbe proprio raccontato come quel giorno sulle scale stessero cercando di trattenere Amber dal picchiare Johnny. L'amica di Whitney sostiene anche che la sorella di Amber le avrebbe confessato di quell'incidente in Australia, dicendo che Amber aveva tagliato il dito a Johnny. Inoltre, nella sua testimonianza, Jennifer Howe parlerà anche di Elon Musk, dicendo che Musk era abusante e controllava Amber e che in confronto Johnny fosse un santo. Questa deposizione però non è stata accettata in Virginia perché farebbe parte del sentito dire, obiezione che oramai conosciamo benissimo.
But I'm standing up there talking, I'm standing up there, I'm at the top of the stairs with my back to the stairs, and that's when Johnny runs up the stairs. And I'm facing Amber, he comes up behind me, strikes me in the back, kind of just somewhere over here, he strikes me in the back, I hear Amber shout, "Don't hit my f***ing sister." She smacks him, lands one, and then he grabs, at that point, that's when Travis runs up the stairs after Amber landed one. But by that time, Johnny had already grabbed Amber by the hair with one hand and was whacking her repeatedly in the face with the other as I was standing there. Travis pulls them apart. I get Amber into mine. I close the doors behind me and lock them. I then hear Johnny's voice shouting.
Never mind, withdraw. Okay, sorry.
I hear Johnny's voice shouting, "You f***ing hate you. I hate you both. You f***ing whores." And I hear crashing. I hear crashing and banging and smashing, and he starts screaming like an animal. And I then just moved Amber into the next room, and I just kept her there all night.
Turning to the staircase incident in March 2015, you testified that Mr. Depp allegedly hit you during that incident, right?
Yes.
But you aren't sure if that contact was even meant for you, right?
I honestly don't. I don't know what he was aiming for. My back was to him.
And you weren't injured during that incident, right?
No, I wasn't.
And you didn't seek medical attention?
No,
And you said Debbie Lloyd was there during all of that, correct?
she was.
And Mr. Depp's security, Travis McGivern, was there too?
Yes, he was.
And you saw your sister hit Mr. Depp on the stairs that day, right?
After he struck me, yes.
You said she landed one, right? And then the next day, you found some damage in the adjoining penthouse.
Correct.
And we saw some pictures of what you saw that day, right?
Yes.
You thought it was important to document that damage, right?
Not to document. It was Kevin's job to kind of clean up the houses, take care of the houses. I took pictures just so he could be aware of what he would need to bring. I didn't know if he had tools here or whatever. I was just preparing him for what he was going to have to fix.
But you didn't take any pictures of your sister that day, right?
No, I didn't.
You know who Jennifer Howell is, right, Ms. Enriquez?
I do.
She's the founder of the Art of Elysium nonprofit.
She is.
And you worked there for a time, didn't you?
I did.
Around May 2015, you actually moved in with Ms. Howell, right?
May 2015?
15?
Yes.
And you moved out of the penthouses because at that point you and your sister were fighting, right?
It was, yeah, it was around the time that, he had accused me of leaking stories, and that was the impetus of me leaving.
And you testified earlier, I think, that he had asked you to sign an NDA, right?
At some point.
And that was around the same time that he was concerned you were leaking stories about their wedding to the media?
I believe so.
You and Ms. Howell were close?
We were.
Close enough that you lived with her for around a year?
I don't recall if it was that long.
And you confided in Ms. Howell, right?
About some things, yes. She was my friend.
You called her your chosen sister? You grew up in Texas with your sister and your parents, right?
Correct.
And you were really close with Ms. Heard growing up?
We were.
And you're still close now, right?
We are.
And you love her?
Of course.
And your childhood, though, had some difficult moments, right?
It wasn't perfect.
Your father hit you and your sister at times, right?
Yes.
And your sister would protect you from that abuse when she could, wouldn't she?
We would protect each other, for sure.
And when you graduated from high school, you moved out to Los Angeles, right?
I did.
And your sister gave you a place to live in LA?
Yes.
And she helped support you?
In part, I also was working myself, and yeah.
And you're grateful to her for being there when you needed her, right?
Of course.
And just like she protected and cared for you, you want to protect and care for her, right?
And when I can, of course, but yeah.